can ask, can I go till 8:30? Can I go till 8:30? Ask, Prabhuji. Can I go till 8:30? Ask. Okay. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yuga Pavan Harinam Sankirtan ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki, Srinath ji ki. You have 3 deities here? Srinath ji. In our Bombay Chowpatty temple also we have 3. Srinath ji there also we have. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshuvannilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namavom Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya I'm very happy to be here in Tobacco Center of New Jersey. Thanks to Neelamani Prabhu for offering me an opportunity to be with all of you this evening. This topic is an interesting topic, isn't it? The topic of catching fish without getting wet. You may wonder what it is. How can anyone catch fish without getting wet? I will explain the meaning of the topic first, and then it will make sense. In this world, we are all born in this world and we naturally have to act. And we have to act in such a way that we don't get entangled in this world. And one has to have the awareness on how to act. That's the main theme of the topic. Like one boy came to Mumbai for the first time. So he saw the trains were all very crowded. So he thought the best bogie was the first class bogie. So the stripped one, isn't it? So he just occupied it. He went to the first class bogie and sat, and the ticket collector, when he came, he saw that the boy has a second class ticket, but he's sitting in the first class bogie. So immediately he caught him and said, "Hey, you have to pay a fine." And the boy asked why. He told him that you are sitting in the wrong place. You are supposed to go in the crowded bogie of the train. The boy said, "Therefore I have come here," he said. Then you have to pay for the first class. He said, "Sorry sir, I'm coming first time, I don't know," he said. So TT said, "No, ignorance is no excuse. If you are coming to Bombay, you have to learn the laws of the city." So he had to pay a fine. Now, here is an example of how the boy got into trouble because he was just not aware. Similarly, we all have human bodies, and in human bodies, if you are not aware of the universal laws that govern this universe, what is right, what is wrong, and like one new man started coming to a temple in Pune. He was not chanting. He was a newcomer. He liked the atmosphere, ambience. He would just come and sit like in a yoga posture. So one day I met him and asked him, "You're coming, are you chanting? Whom do you know?" And he didn't know anybody. He said, "I feel very nice when I come here." He said, "I want to bring my brother to you. I'll introduce him to you." So next week he brought his brother from the village. So his brother was like sort of boasting himself. He said, "I give great charity of, feeding 10,000 people every year," he said, "in our village." I said, "That's wonderful." Then he said, "Therefore we cut 1,000 goats," he said, "for feeding the 10,000 people." Then I told him, "What kind of charity is this? It's very sinful, killing so many goats. You think that you are doing a great good to the people by giving them charity, but in the course of giving charity, you are killing the goats." Then I told him the Mrigari story. You all know Mrigari? Past time. I told him because he was shocked. He said, "Nobody told me this." So then he said, "Okay, I will stop the goats next time. We will not give non-vegetarian, we'll give vegetarian," he said. Then I told him, even an elephant is a vegetarian. Even monkey, elephant, they are all vegetarian. But actually, what makes a human being special is you should be a Krishnatarian. You should offer it to Krishna, then it becomes prasad. That was also new to him. Then he asked why we should offer. Then I explained to him everything. So he got two leap steps by coming to the temple. One thing he learned that he should not kill the innocent creatures, which he was not aware. He was a simple man. Another thing he learned is, even if you take sanctioned food, that should be sanctified by offering it to Krishna. So in this way you will see sanctioned and sanctified. So many people are not aware of the laws that govern the human life, and they may be innocent also. They may say they are innocent, but they have to, become aware by taking out time to learn about it. Like say a lady is bringing a cooker from the market. So before she keeps the cooker in the stove, what is she supposed to do? What is the first thing she's supposed to do? Can she simply put rice and water and just keep it? The first thing she should know is after how many whistles she should keep it down, isn't it? I don't know how many whistles. Is it 5 or 6? How many? How many whistles afterwards you take it? Yeah?
Depends on the rice.
Is it depends on the rice? Okay. Generally, how many maximum whistles? 3, yeah. Imagine I'm waiting for the 6th one, there will be explosion. Isn't it? Yeah. Because it must have exceeded the temperature. So therefore, before using any machine, you should have a manual which will tell you about the machine. So the Prabhupada says the operator of the cosmic machine is God. Operator of the small body is we ourselves, the Atma. So both about the Atma and about God and about the universe we live in, everything is available in the manual called Bhagavad Gita. So we just have to become aware of what it is. So that's the meaning of the topic. Catching fish without getting wet means, yes, you can act in this world. Not that everybody has to give up everything and go to Himalayas or something, which is practically impossible. 99.99% of people cannot do that. But while living in the busiest city in this world, how we can act in such a way that we will not be victimized by sinful reactions. We will not be entangled. That's the meaning of the topic. I will tell you a little story of a boy who did this very smartly. Once two friends were roaming in a village where there was a big landlord's, like a palatial building with a surrounding wall. So there was a palatial building, there were gardens, and outside that there was a big wall. And the landlord had put one watchman to go round and round with a stick in hand. Anybody would write anything on the wall, the watchman would capture him and bring him to the landlord, and he will be bet very severely. He'll be bet so severely, almost up to the point of getting a fracture. So nobody should write anything on the wall. That was his thing. So everybody in the village knew that. Nobody is supposed to write. If somebody writes, they will be severely punished by the landlord. So one day when these two boys went, one of the boys told their friend that, "I am going to write something about the wall today," he said. And the friend said, "I think you are eager to be beaten up." The boy said, "I will write and still not get beaten up," he said. So when he wrote something, not only on one wall, he wrote on all the 3 walls, all the 3 sides. Guess what must have happened? The watchman went and reported to the landlord. And the landlord came and saw what he wrote on the wall. Then he took both the boys inside his big palace and gave them a big gift to them. And he said, thank you so much. And he patted the boy and sent him off. Can you guess what he must have written on the wall? Yeah, do not write anything on the wall. That's all he wrote. So, what we understand from this, he aligned his will with the landlord's will. Because landlord's will was nobody should write anything. Some people write their names. Some people write so many other things. They scribble so many things. But he wrote something what the landlord wanted to do. Similarly, the boss in this creation is who? God. God, Krishna, he is the boss. So if you can know what is his will and you exactly act according to his will, then we will not be entangled. We need to know what will he want us to do and what does he not want us to do. What pleases him, what pains him. We need to know that. And aligning with that is actually the most vital aspect of action. That action is actually called akarma, we call it, which is, akarma means that action which is not producing and not binding, but which is spiritual. So regarding that we will learn today. And it's not that for one to perform such karma, one has to be a very exalted person, very, very spiritually advanced, and he must have gone to great heights of religion. In fact, you can begin with those type of activities, which will, only thing is one should keep educating oneself from the scriptures on one hand, and one should also act not based on the impulses of the mind and the senses. One should act with spiritual intelligence. If you see, many people are unaware of the difference between IQ and intelligence, spiritual intelligence. IQ, intelligence quotient, is actually something with which people are born. Like Einstein had some 162 or 163 or something like that IQ. And there are many other smart engineers, smart scientists who had 140, 150 like that. So, different people have different IQ with which they are born. But the IQ, even a person with high IQ may have no character. There are people like that. On the other hand, when we are talking about intelligence, we are talking about spiritual intelligence, viveka buddhi, which comes by study of the scriptures. What is right, what is wrong, what is beneficial, what is harmful, and what is short-term pleasure, what is long-term pleasure, what is temporary, what is permanent. One should know these things. And scriptures give very beautifully, a crystal clear manner. So the presentation I'm going to show you is a very simple one. I prepared like this because sometimes when we go to temples, some newcomers also come, and I didn't want to make the subject too complex. It's very easy. They are self-explanatory as I proceed through the slides. So I will go a little fast. I'm going to show you 4 main lessons I will show you. Before we go to those 4 lessons, you can say this. You all can repeat after me. We are not all in all. There is a God in control. This body is not all in all. Soul exists. This one lifetime is not all in all. Many more lifetimes exist. This material world is not all in all. Spiritual world exists. So this is called as Gita in 4 sutras. G-I-T-A is a G for God, I for identity, T for transmigration, A for aim of life. So in this, now I am going to focus on the third one, which is transmigration and law of karma. I'm going to focus on that. So I do a 4-part seminar called as Gita in a nutshell. We do it. So in Gita in a nutshell, we cover all these 4. In 4 sessions, we cover this in 4. I just did it in Boston when I was here. The last few days I did that. But here we will focus on the T1, transmigration. One lifetime is not all in all. So like this, neatly made one slide, like this, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 things I will share with you. The purpose of putting a stout one is so that you will remember what were the main headings that we covered. Okay? You see, where does one go after death? So the science behind the law of karma that we are going to learn now. So in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, everybody in this world, they are born, the body grows, the body is maintained, it produces byproducts, it dwindles and dies. But the soul never dies. The soul is simply, the body is simply like a shirt over the soul. So you are not the car, you are the driver of the car. You are not the house, you are resident of the house. So you live inside the house and the house is different from you. In the same manner, like you will see here, what happens to us at the time of death. The soul leaves the gross body behind and is taken to another womb based on the quality of desires stored in his subtle body at the time of death. Very scientific concept it is. You see, the Atma or the soul, who is a resident of the body, is completely pure, but is enveloped by two bodies. One is called gross, one is called subtle. And the gross body is what you are all seeing right now. You can see in the mirror. It's made up of five elements. But subtle body, you cannot see immediately, but it is inside. That consists of mind, intelligence, and ego. Basically, you can think it as mind. Soul covered by a mind and a body. So body, mind, soul, as we say. So mind is like a hard disk, where the soul stores all his desires, which he executes through the gross body. Just like, for example, a small boy. What's his good name, the small boy? Yeah, what's your good name? Yeah, okay, Chakresh. Say Chakresh, because he's a small boy, maybe father must have given him a tricycle, isn't it? And then when he goes to school, he'll get a bicycle. When he goes to college, he may get a bike. When he goes to company, he'll get a car. But the boy is the same boy, but he's changing the vehicles, isn't it? As he grows, he goes for different. Similarly, you will find here, see here, the driver is the same, but he's changing from one vehicle to another. Like that, the soul also changes bodies. One body. Why? It's based on the boy's desire. First, he was happy with the cycle. Now he's gone to college, he wants a bike. He had a desire. So if you desire something, accordingly, you get an instrument to exercise afterwards. So now it's not only the desire, it also is based on whether you deserve it also. Say, for example, in my school days, I had gone to one clothes shop. So I told him, now I want to take a pant and a shirt, and he took me to one section. And he told me that this will be 4,000 rupees you have to pay for these clothes. I said, I only have 1,000 rupees with me. He said, okay, I'll take you to another section. Then he showed me, this is a cheaper one. Here you can get it in 1,000 rupees, you'll get both pant and shirt. Which means, according to your paying ability, you will be awarded the dress. Similarly, bodies are also awarded according to our ability to pay karma. Good karma, bad karma, accordingly. You see, there are so many 8.4 million species. Jalajana Valakshani, Stavara Lakshamshati. In Padma Purana, it said, actually evolution definitely happens, but not the way that Darwin thought. In 1859, when he gave the theory of evolution, Darwin's idea was like you have a Luna, and then you pump Luna, it becomes a Maruti. And the Maruti suddenly grows wings and starts flying. That's what he thought. But Bhagavad Gita says the vehicles don't grow, vehicles remain what they are, but the driver from the Luna leaves the Luna and goes to a Maruti. And the driver leaves the Maruti and becomes a pilot in a plane. So that is our real evolution, the evolution of the soul from one body to another. So if anybody is interested more to know about it, you can see in my channel there is a lecture called as Did Man Evolve from Branches to Benches? So we can go through that leisurely. It's very detailed explanation is given. So whether man came from apes or man came from God creating Brahma and then Saptarishis and coming down, you can see very solid scientific arguments for that. You will see that. But now that is beyond the scope of this class. For the time being, this point should be known that the bodies are all like vehicles, and the soul is moving from one body to another. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Shariram yadavapnoti yachapyutkramati Grihitvaitani samjati vayuhu gandhani vashayat. Is saying like a wind carries the fragrance or it carries the bad smell. Like that the soul carries its desires stored in the mind, he says. So the soul has got a mind and he stores the desires in the mind. Some of the desires he fulfills in this body. Whatever is unfulfilled, he fulfills it in the next body. So the basically the gross bodies we all possess is an instrument which is given so that using the instrument you fulfill your desires. Krishna says here. On what basis the soul is awarded the next body? Is saying. All of you please repeat. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajatyante kalevaram tam tamevaiti kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavitah. He's saying that at the time of death, when he's quitting the body, whatever state of being one remembers, that state he will attain without fail. Here you see an old man going into a door, coming out as a child, the next life. So it depends on your mental state at the time of death, he says. So that mental state, how does it come about? Whatever we have been doing all our life, at the time of death, those thoughts accrue. And predominantly, those thoughts will rule our mind. And then we get body accordingly. It's not that suddenly one can alter the thoughts at the time of death. It's not possible. Like when I was in South India, once I'd gone to somebody's house, one relative's house. That fellow was so enthusiastic. There was a 78-year-old man, but he was watching cricket for 8 hours a day during the IPL. And whenever the players would put a sixer, he would jump up, ha 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 ha, like that he was jumping up. That means he's 78. Anytime he is going to leave his body. Now, when he leaves the body, he is likely to again get one more material body, because his mind is relishing cricket and he has to play cricket now, the next life. You understand the point? It's very simple. Whatever you relish, whatever you revere, whatever you wish to do, the strong desires you cultivate, accordingly we are going to get bodies. So we can cultivate divine desires like Prahalad, or we can cultivate demoniac desires like Hiranyakashipu. It depends on us. Even within all of us, there is a Prahalad and Hiranyakashipu within us. It depends on whom do you feed. If I feed Prahalad like qualities, which are called Daivi Sampat or divine assets, then they will increase. And if we are going to feed Hiranyakashipu like desires, then that kind of demoniac qualities will increase. So this is what he is saying. We accept one body after quitting another, depending on two things: what you desire and what you deserve. You see, he's developing a certain type of mentality. He's eating flesh and drinking blood. He's preparing a tiger type of mentality. Tigers actually chase after the deers. They capture a deer and by the neck, and then they tear it and keep it for some 2 weeks proper size. Little by little they keep eating rotten type of flesh. It's a very horrible thing. You see, tigers, their intestine is only this much long, and they can very easily, and also the gastric juice in a tiger's body is 20 times more concentrated. So therefore, as soon as meat goes in, it can digest very quickly and throw it out. Whereas in a human body, when a man eats flesh, it goes through a long route. Like how much feet? 30 feet. And also gastric juice is not that intense in human body. And that is the reason why there are varieties of diseases, complications, and people have difficulty digesting also. And then they have to go for treadmill and all that to digest the food. Afterwards, go to gym, do this, do that. So you will never find a man jumping on a tiger and eating. You can't eat. You can jump on a carrot and eat. Isn't it? Because we are made for eating vegetables, fruits, cereals, milk, sugar, like that. So therefore he's preparing, because he's eating what tigers are supposed to eat. Actually, there are carnivorous animals and there are herbivorous. We are actually herbivorous. Man has coined a new term called omnivorous. He wants this also, that also. Like a cow will never eat flesh, and the tiger will never eat grass. But man will eat both. You'll see that. See, this fellow is sleeping a lot. He's preparing the consciousness of a polar bear. In my college days, one of my friends slept on Friday and got up on Sunday. I asked him, hey, wow, how could you sleep so long? He said, what to do? It's a holiday now. Exams are over now. So some people have a habit of sleeping in the weekend. They sleep 2 days fully also sometimes. Of course, they will get up when they are hungry. So, but you will see, here you see different people with different mentalities. Some lusty rogue, he becomes a dog. Some lazy person. See how polar bear moves. Second picture, you see how it's moving. He's very lazy now. In the Arctic and Antarctic region. Any of you do like this in the bed? You're trying to get, but you are unable to get up. The body is glued to the bed. Yeah. See that envious person is becoming a snake. And somebody exposing the body and to attract the opposite sex, it becomes a tree. Nalakor Manigriv, they became trees. And the meat one I told you. So these are all mentalities are shown in this picture. Yeah, see how the soul wanders in different species of life. Some people have a wrong notion that if you are a human being, you will always get a human body. If you are a dog, you will again and again become dog only. Some people, some organizations say that, which is not true. Krishna clearly says, Purusha prakritistohi bhungte prakriti jan gunan karanam guna sangosya sat asat yoni janmasu. See the word sat means, Sad Yoni means human form or divine form, Devata form. That is Sad Yoni. Asat Yoni means like animals, birds, aquatics, reptiles, all those things, which are non-human. So we can, actually the human body is like a crossroad, we can say, where we create fresh karma. And in case, say for example, some person has 5 desires to enjoy like animals, he may go to those 5 bodies. And by default, they'll come back to human body again. Animal bodies means they work off their karma, that's all. And human body means they create fresh karma. And then they get the bodies accordingly. Like, as you sow, so shall you reap. This is from the Bible. So, as you act accordingly, you are sowing a seed. You can sow a neem seed or you can sow a mango seed. Mango seed is like pious activity. Neem seed is like sinful activity. When the tree comes, you have to eat a lot of neem seeds or a lot of mangoes later on when the tree grows. So, we all are attracting, we're doing action and attracting a corresponding reaction. See, he gives one slap, he immediately gets another slap. It's called instant. Instantly he gets results. But delayed means you sow a seed and the apple tree comes and slowly apples will come. It will take some years. It takes time. In this way, some may be so delayed that, say for example, a student doesn't study well now. At the end of the semester, the student will suffer while writing exams. Or somebody is making a lot of money now and spending it all and not saving for the future. Then our post-retirement will be problem after retirement. So in this way, it delays. But some karma, as it gets delayed, death comes and interrupts in between. So the reactions are stored in the mind and awarded in the next life. So that is the reason why you find sometimes a newly born child is like having a polio attack or something, hand handicapped or something. The reason is, some past karma which was not, accounted for, that is coming in this life. That's why newly born children also sometimes are seen to have a handicap. So, like for example, if say somebody was a thief, say he was wearing a t-shirt and a pant, he was going in a bike, so police chased after him. Now he removed the t-shirt and pant and he wore another type of dress. He wore some other like a lungi or something like that. He changed his clothes. Is the police going to leave him? Police know that the person is same, his dress has changed. Similarly, the soul is same, the body has changed, so the karma will also follow that. It will not leave. If you want to see how much it follows, you can see this short video, you can see. isn't it? So you saw how the karma clings on to people who act in this world. You can see that, isn't it? You got an idea now. So in the human life, we have developed intelligence and we can discriminate to know the right from the wrong. Mm. But if one engages in sinful acts, then one suffers. You see, these are all degrading sinful activities. Dyotam panam striya suna yatra adharmas chaturvida. This is a verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam based on which Srila Prabhupada gave these four principles. Illicit sex and meat eating and intoxication and gambling. And now you can see based on this, you can see somebody is beautiful, somebody gets ugly looking form, isn't it? Yeah. Somebody is, stinking rich, somebody is poverty stricken. And we can see these things with our eyes in this world. You see, yeah. Now these are all due to sinful reactions, which comes. So just like you work in a company, say if you worked for April month, in the May 1st you get the paycheck, isn't it? Or if you work for the May month, you get on June 1st you get the paycheck for the May month. Similarly, in one full lifetime after you complete the term, then when the next life comes, then the reactions will come in the subsequent lives. Actually, the reactions are not immediately given. They are all stored like a seed. They are stored, it's called Sanchit Karma, we call it. Just like you all have a bank account. Say in bank account, you may have $20, $30, $40,000 you may have. You have that. And you may take some liquid cash for your daily use. Little you may use. Like that. In the same manner, the reactions are, every lifetime, we are given some good and some bad reactions. See, at the time of death, as Krishna says, please all of you repeat this shloka. Antakale cha mameva Smaran muktva kalevaram yaprayati samadbhavam yati nastyatra samshayah. In the picture you see, it's actually a history of one very highly cultured Brahmin from North India, close to a place called Kanpur. This place is called Kanyakubj. Kanyakubj is nowadays called Kanauj in Uttar Pradesh. Yeah. So this Kanauj, in that place he was born, and right from young age he was a young boy, very cultured boy. He would bow down to his parents and bow down to God. He would do Sandhya, 3 Sandhya, Pratah, Madhyanika, Sayam Sandhya, everything he would do. He was very learned in the Vedas also. And he was very, life was going on pretty well. One day he went to forest to pluck some flowers. But he saw a very dirty sight of one low-class woman and low-class man embracing, kissing each other. When he saw that sight, immediately in his mind, lusty seeds, desires arose. And he became agitated. So we all are walking on the surface of the globe, but because of the age and nature of Kali Yuga, the people's interaction with one another, especially if they do impure things, that can actually agitate the mind and senses of many others also. But how should one respond in such occasion? He should have ran back to his father and reported to his father, who might have taken him to some guru or guruji or somebody. He didn't do that. Rather, he was hiding behind a tree and watching it over and over. And such a repeated contemplation, it produces attachment. In the beginning, it was only attraction, but attraction turned into attachment due to repeated contemplation. Even today, in the mobile or in that computer, if people are going to repeatedly contemplate on certain dirty things, that's how they develop attachment. And from that attachment develops lust. So when he returned home, he could not forget that lady. So he drove away his parents out of home. They were very religious parents. He even sent his wife to her parents' home. Then he brought that lady. And he did terrible sin, actually. Almost 10 children he begot one after another. And he was actually ready for going to hell. You can see the picture here on the right side. You find Yamadutas, who are constables of Yama. They were ready to take him to hell at the time of death. But one good thing happened in this fellow's life. His wife, the prostitute, she was sitting with the baby in the doorstep of the house, and one monk was passing by. So she asked the monk, "Can you give some name for my child?" And the monk said, call him as Narayana. He said, and that was the only good thing that happened in his life. So he used to call Narayana, hey Narayana, come here, sit with me, eat. Huh? Narayana, come with me, I'm going to market. Like that, he would keep on calling Narayana, Narayana again and again. So when he suddenly saw this dangerous looking constables of Yama, these people have no lips only, they have only teeth. You can only see the teeth. And their hair begins from here straight like this. Very crooked looking faces, very dangerous. In India, there is one owner of Seema bulbs. His name is Srinathji. He is one of the congregation members of ISKCON Radha Gopinath Mandir Chowpatty. So he had undergone a bypass surgery, and he was in the ICU unit. So he was sleeping in a bed, and another man sleeping next to him in another bed. In a noon time, probably it was like 12 o'clock in the noon, suddenly he saw similar figures, two big people and one short. And all of them were looking similar, the crooked looking faces, animal-like faces, big eyes, bloodshot eyes, and hair starting from here. And they had ropes in their hands. So he saw that sight and he was surprised. I am a devotee of Krishna. Why these fellows have come to take me? We are here in the scriptures that if you are a devotee of the Lord, you will not be taken by these constables of Yama. So they came into the glass room not through the door. Directly they came into glass because that is not a restriction for them. They came. And the person next to him loudly screamed, he screamed, and then next moment he died. So they came, they took the soul out of the body. And next, the whole thing happened in 10 seconds, he was telling. So he had come to a temple and the Sunday feast lecture he was narrating 2 weeks later. So he was telling that I have only heard of Yamadutas before, now I saw them with my eyes. So he's a second initiated devotee, why should he tell lies? He was in the hospital, he saw with his eyes. So if somebody says, I don't believe in all these things, we can wait till death. They will say, eventually they will see. Just like I was in giving one lecture in one jail in Bhubaneswar. Near Bhubaneswar, there's a place called Benkanal. So there were 300 thieves who were sitting, and the policemen were also sitting. I gave a lecture, and Ajamila only I spoke. So at the end, one of the thieves, I want to ask a question. He said, what is the proof that Yamadutas will come? He asked. Then I asked him, see, when you stole money, the police came, right? And they put you here in the jail. You agree? He said, yes. In the same manner, if you do sin, Yamadutas will come. I said, I said, now I agree. He said, and sat down. So you will see that for every sinful action, there is a reaction kept. For example, those who eat, those who drink liquor, they get some liver cirrhosis. Those who smoke cigarette, they get some lung cancer. Those who take tobacco, they get this, ulcers in the mouth. Similarly, good things you do breathing exercises, or you do meditation, you go for jogging, your body is healthy. And if you do meditation, mind is healthy. You can see that. You lead a clean life, pure life, eat vegetarian food, it's very easy to digest. You will see that for good actions, there is a good reaction. For bad actions, there is a bad reaction, even in this life. So why should we doubt that there cannot be reaction later? So, and the Yamadutas came, but one good thing happened. When they came out of great fear, he called his son, Narayana, like that he called them. And then these people came, whom you see, the shining people who are Vishnudutas. They brought a sword and they cut off the ropes of Yama's constables. They told them that now you cannot touch him. He has called Narayana's names. So they had argument with them, and there was a mutual argument, and he was watching both what they are saying. Later on, the Vishnudutas defeated Yamadutas and sent them back. Then, now I'll just show you.
Narayan! Narayan! Oh, Narayan!
They're taking the soul out of the body.
Leave this man alone. Who are you that dares to challenge us? For we are the Yamadutas.
And what happened to Ajamil? After that, both vanished. Yamadutas also vanished and Vishnudutas also vanished. So then Ajamila repented very bitterly, great remorse he had. Then he went to a holy place called Haridwar, you see on the right side picture. There for 12 years he was in a Vishnu temple, worshipping the Lord and studying the scriptures, associating with saintly people, taking a dip in the holy Ganges daily, chanting the holy name, led a very pure life. Then now they have again come 12 years later. Now they told Ajamila, you become purified, like iron rod put in fire gets fiery. Like that Ajamil became purified by all the spiritual practices. And now he is going to spiritual world. On the right side picture you see. So if you do pious reactions, you get pious results like this. In this life you find sometimes somebody is born in a big family. Like in India, we have the Hindujas family. The sons born in the family, as soon as the children opened their eyes, they found in their bank balance 47,000 crores. You know what hard work they did, tell me. They have done something in the previous life to be born in a family like that. So the pious reactions come as handsomeness or wealth or intelligence or good food and all that. Yeah. So everybody in this world is thinking of different needs. They are always dreaming, and people somehow or other finish off the life without any ultimate goal. So some people do pious also. Like here you see people are doing Lakshmi Puja for getting gold or rains or getting some Putra Bhagya, son or like that. Or below you see they are doing some social service. In pious activity, there are two types of pious activity. One is very mundane pious activity. You may, if you feed the poor, the next life you will have enormous fields with rice and wheat and everything. If you are giving some uniform to school children, next life you will be owner of a textile mill because you gave clothes. If you are giving some notebooks to school children, next life you will be a printing press owner. You will be surrounded by papers all around. Because you did some good, it comes 1,000 times more. But material good activity brings forth material good in return for you. Or if you do puja like you are seeing they are doing again, one may go to heavenly planets, but there also our pious credits get over. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, we come back. So if we do sinful activity, we go to hell and suffer. -3, -2, -1, 0, we come back. Like that. So at the time of death, we all carry three type of activities. One is pious, one is sinful, one is spiritual. So pious and sinful, they get nullified over a period of time. So how are Krishna conscious activities or spiritual activities different from the pious activities? That is shown here. If you see here, as I told you, in these activities, one is remembering the Lord. In all the activities, whether one is chanting, one is worshipping, don't include God in your life as order supplier, but keep God in the center of your life and do everything around Him. There's a difference between the two. Some people have 20 ways of getting things in this world and they add God as a 21st item. They think we can also go and ask Him, give me this, give me that. They go to temple only to ask. Instead, we should keep God in the center of our life and do everything as per His will. Example is Arjuna, you see. Compare Arjuna and Duryodhana. If you see, Arjuna did exactly as Krishna said, and Duryodhana fought the battle for his own sense gratification. Therefore, spiritual activity means, here I have shown many activities in ISKCON society, like they are distributing books, doing Harinam Sankirtan, Matajis are making garland, one Mata is worshipping the deities, one Mata is serving prasad, you can do painting for Krishna, cooking for Krishna, gardening for Krishna, giving class, so many things we can do, spiritual activities. Here you see they are doing Kirtan Mela. Hari likes like this, correct? Hari, your favorite. So, in this way, all are spiritual activities. You see, you can do computer work for Krishna, or you can write article for Back to Godhead magazine. You can chant Hare Krishna, and you can build Rath cart. So many things you can do. So, in this way, if you do elevating spiritual activities, you go beyond birth, death, old age, and disease. It's very simple because, like a cashier works for the bank, he doesn't put any money in his pocket. He may give thousands of dollars or millions of dollars out. He may get millions of dollars in. He's not going to cry or he's not going to jump because money is not his. It belongs to bank. So one can work like that on Krishna's account. Actually, this is very important. All this ABCD you see here, associating with devotees. Association means spiritual discussion, Knowledge transmission, heart transformation. That is association. When you meet devotees, there should be some talk about spirituality. And there should be some transmission of knowledge. And then that should lead to heart transformation. Like cruel person should become a kind-hearted person. A greedy person should become a satisfied person. A person who is filled with lust should become filled with love. An angry person should become a peaceful person. In this way, some change should come. Similarly, books like Bhagavad Gita and C for chanting, D for prasad, diet, and then seva. So all these are spiritual activities. You see, we all know about these activities, many of you know that, but how do we do it? We should do it in Krishna consciousness. I'll tell you a simple example for this. You see, once a lady had purchased a sari. She was earning monthly in India, 5,000 rupees she was earning, and she purchased a sari for 5,000 rupees. And the husband was earning 1 lakh in IT company. So one day the husband asked her, hey, you purchased a 5,000 rupees sari, whole month's salary you put it in purchasing a sari. She said, why are you asking me this question? This is my account, she said. My salary, I am spending, why should you stop me? Then the husband kept quiet. But 2 months later, the wife thought, I am only getting 5,000, he is getting 1 lakh. Why to keep my account separate? She told the husband, I will put my money also in your account. Let us combined account we will have put together. And after she put, then husband, when the Diwali came, he bought a sari for 10,000 rupees. Now she asked him, you scolded me for 5,000, you are getting me for 10,000. He said, because I am making 1 lakh, he said, why can't I give you 10,000? So she thought this is more advantageous. So because they both became aligned at heart, and after that they worked together. Similarly, the Jivatma should have become aligned with Krishna. That means we have to make our account one with Krishna's account. Like Arjuna understood, I am one, Krishna is infinity. 1 plus infinity is infinity. It's better to, that's what Pandavas intelligently did. When Arjuna and Duryodhana went to Dwaraka, Arjuna chose what? Krishna. And Duryodhana chose? Duryodhana was so foolish. In the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, you read, he is talking about everybody in the battle. He's talking about Bhima, talking about Arjuna, everybody except Krishna. He thought it's useless to talk about Krishna. He is not going to lift any weapons. What is the use of talking? But he doesn't know the whole war is happening under Krishna's guidance. And Krishna is shaking the whole creation. He doesn't know that. So the materialists always calculate materially. Spiritualists calculate spiritually. So if you understand the spiritual calculation, you can align with Krishna's will and ascend in the spiritual life and go back to Godhead. Krishna also promises that Mamapetya punarjanma dukkhalayam ashashvatam napnuvanti mahatmanah samsiddhim paramam gataha. After attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world, Arjun, which is full of miseries, because they have attained the highest perfection, Krishna says. They return back to Godhead. So here you find Gajendra also. He was, after all, an animal. Still, in the previous life, he had done some, as Pandya Raja, Indradumna, he had done something. So when the crocodile bit him on the leg, he called out the Lord's name, and eventually Lord came, and Gajendra offered wonderful prayers called Gajendra Moksha. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, you will read. Actually, Sripad Shankaracharya says that all the jivas in this world are compared to this elephant Gajendra. And we are all caught with the crocodile of samsara. And we all are crying. But instead of just weeping, it's better to call the name of the Lord. Early morning when we get up, we should remember this scene, he says, that we are caught in this world in varieties of problems. And by calling the Lord's name, immediately, that is the way to attract the Lord, you can see that. Not only Gajendra was relieved from the body, now he got a Vishnu Duta body now. He's going to Vaikuntha now. See, even when the crocodile is catching his leg, he's offering a flower. You can see that. Now he's coming here. So this is called akarma, which I showed you in the second section. Working for the Lord. Actually, working for the Lord is only possible when we develop some mamata, we call it. Mamata means actually some affinity, some attachment. It is not a mechanical thing that uh, you know, you are working in this account, suddenly you do it in this account. You, like all of you here, you feel some connection to your parents, right? To your mother, father. You see a child in the school, lot of parents are coming and the children are all rushing out of the school. Every child's eyes are trying to meet another pair of eyes in the crowds of people. When those two pairs of eyes meet, immediately the child will run to the mother. You've seen that? Huh? Because they are connected. And then the mother will lift up the child and then take in the car back home. And you can see in this world, just observe this. Parents and children connection very strong. In the same manner, and when we talk about the offering of the fruits to Lord, one has to study the scriptures and start from the basics. Who created this world? Why did he create the world? Then the person, Prabhupada says Krishna consciousness means first to understand who is God, and where does he live, what does he do, what is my relationship with him, why has he sent me here, and what are his wonderful qualities. He is such a kind person that he doesn't close the doors of spiritual world to even the demons also. He's always keeping it open. So then only one will gradually develop awareness of him, understanding of him, remembrance of him, and then affectionately one can offer. This is a very easy section. Please repeat this. Accept, only, sanctioned, sanctified, and regulated. These three things you remember. Sanctioned, sanctified, and regulated. If you do these three things, it's a very good beginning for us to transform all our actions into spiritual actions. It's very easy to do. For example, you see in the contemporary world view is money, 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 money is honey. Whole world is running after money like that. On the other hand, you see in the Vedas say that Annamaya means people search for only food like children. Pranamaya means they join the rat race of competition. Most people don't go beyond Pranamaya. At the most they go to Manomaya, which is a dreaming for ambitions. But only when we come to Vijnanamaya, we talk about soul and body difference understanding. And Anandamaya, you can understand the difference between soul and God and the loving relationship with God. That is the ultimate goal. Otherwise, people are stuck like this, mad after mental enjoyment. They don't know anything beyond that. But Krishna taught Arjuna how to attain everlasting happiness. So this one slide I have shown in multiple slides. If you see here, we should only eat vegetarian food offered to God because that is sanctioned and sanctified. And we should eat in a regulated proportion. On the right side I have shown we should not eat unauthorized foods. And even if we eat authorized foods, we should not overeat. Yeah. Similarly, we should not encroach on others' property. Like Pandavas were very faithful. When they were defeated in the dice game, they were ready to go to forest for 12 years. Plus one. They actually, the 13th year also incognito they completed. After that, they came to ask for land, if not possible, at least five villages they asked. So they were very, very righteous. On the other hand, you find the Kauravas were hell bent on cheating. You know what Yudhishthira Maharaj said in the battle, beginning of Kurukshetra battle? Why are we fighting for land like dogs fighting for a piece of meat? Like that, he said. He was not happy with the war. Whereas Duryodhan said that I will not even give a land which can fit in the tip of a needle. Like that, he said. So that is. Similarly, wealth should be honorably earned wealth, and a portion of which we have to offer to Lord. In companies they have TDS, you all know that, right? Tax deducted at source. But when it comes to your hand, you should remove another portion from it, maybe some 10 or 5 or 10%, whatever you want to give to God. That is another TDS, Transcendental Devotion Service. That also you should give it to Krishna. Then only you should, authorized money you should take. That's the point. That means portion of your wealth you should offer it to Lord. Then all the money will become sanctified. And one should not earn money by wrong means because one will not get a good night's sleep. one has to eat sleeping pills and still they won't be able to sleep. They are always worried about income tax rate or something. You know. Similarly, work also, it should be related to religious principles, authorized by religion. We should not work for industries where they promote meat or, liquor or things like that. Yeah, so one should not work for such organizations because by working for the fallen, we become fallen. And similarly, endeavor, uh, actually, the work which is not done out of greed for wealth and honor, but in divine consciousness. Arjuna is a proof. Arjuna and Yudhishthira and all, they never wanted the war. Arjuna cried in the beginning of Gita, you all know that. He didn't want the war. And Yudhishthira also didn't want. But Krishna ordered them to fight and establish dharma. Therefore they did. On the other hand, you can see Duryodhana, for the sake of greed for wealth and honor, he was ready to do anything, go to any extent. Similarly, one should be married as per religious principles. Lord Ramachandra adopted a Ekapatni Vrata, vow of accepting a wife, and he showed all human beings how one should live. On the other hand, Ravana was a shameless fellow. He went to different parts of the universe and brought different women, including women, ultimately when goddess of fortune, when he brought Sita to Lanka, he was destroyed. So one should not maintain any illicit relationship. Similarly, one should remember that whatever post or position I possess, it's all gift of Krishna. It's offered by the Lord. And one should not indulge in politicking for increasing influence and power, exploiting, and you see, he's stamping over people. There are many politicians who occupy the post only for the sake of filling their pockets. That is condemned. Similarly, yes, animals are subservient to human beings. That doesn't mean there was one Christian who asked Prabhupada, in Bible it is said that God has put animals under humans' custody. And Prabhupada said, that's correct, but not for exploitation, but for protection. Like you protect children. Children are in your custody, but you should protect them. Animals are like children. They also eat, we eat, they sleep, we sleep. They reproduce, we reproduce. So they are very similar. There is a soul in the animal body also. One shouldn't exploit them. So abortion, animal slaughter, all this is condemned. Sleeping also. 6 hours you can sleep, but so that you get energy to serve Krishna next day. Not that some people sleep 12 hours at night and another 4 hours in the day. Lying anywhere. Wherever there is place, they will lie down. Very bad habit. And we can accept recreation, that which is favorable for Krishna consciousness. You can see this Bharatanatyam or singing. Children are so, happy to perform spiritual activities. Parents have to guide them accordingly. They can learn Bharatanatyam and put Yashoda Krishna pastime, or they can sing so many nice songs in glorification of the Lord, hours and hours. So at Kirtana Mela, many of our children, you will find they perform so well. But on the other hand, one shouldn't watch horror movies or unholy movies. Because that forms impression. See, they got frightened now. Why to see and close the eyes then? Better not see at all, isn't it? Yeah, you have to keep, you can keep body healthy in service to God, but one should not do idle TV watching and become a couch potato. So people eat junk food and keep on sitting and watching. Instead, do some activity. That's better. So now it's time. Now it's very late. Maybe I will touch this tomorrow. Fourth topic. Tomorrow, Prabhuji had asked a very good question that people who commit sinful activities, is that also done by God only? Because ultimately God is the person who runs the whole universe. So this is connected to that also. So I'll connect it and I'll do this tomorrow. Okay? Then it will be over. It will require little time. It will require about 15-20 minutes to explain. I'll do it tomorrow. Okay? Then now can I take some questions for 5 minutes? Then we can conclude. Yeah. Was it clear? What are the 3 things I covered? Yeah. You have a question? Yeah, you want this thing?
No.
Okay.
So when you perform this ABCD devotional activities, your karma is good and bad karma is cleaned down, right?
Correct. Krishna says, Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami. Ma shuchaha, do not fear. And what is the proof for this? Like Krishna goes to Yamaloka, he's telling to Yamaraj, he's telling, Guruputra mihanitam nijakarma nibandanam. You know what is the meaning of this? My Guru's son has come here, Yamaraj, bring that boy here, he is saying. Nijakarma nibandanam means he has done some sins maybe in the previous life, for which he has come to Yamaloka now. And Yamaraj is bringing the boy and handing over to Krishna and asking, but what about the boy's punishment? Krishna is saying, Anayasya Maharaja Matshasana Puraskrita, write it in my account, Krishna is saying. Because Krishna's account is such a big account. His sinful account goes in one corner. Krishna says that Krishna can actually go and cancel our account. He can do that. Karmani nirdahati kintuja bhakti bhaja. And he cancelled the account of Sandipani Muni's son and he brought him back and gave it to Guru. So therefore, one should do mamekam saranam braja. Krishna says, surrender only unto me. He says. Is that clear? Yeah.
So my question was, by doing these things, and like I said, devotees are performing these activities, but then they're still suffering, whatever.
That's like if you switch off a fan, it doesn't stop instantly. It gradually stops. So we have 6 stages: Kleshagni, Shubhada, Moksha Lagutakrat, Sudarlabha, Chandrananda Visheshatma, Krishna Krishna. There are many stages in the bhakti. So the Kleshagni means that's the stage when the kleshas will be stopped. It takes, just like a switching off a fan, takes a little while to stop. Devotees can actually completely come to a point. It's very scientifically explained in the Shastra. For example, say I am getting a wound in the knee, or somebody can get a fracture in the leg, or somebody may even die in a car accident. These are 3 severe type of sinful reactions. Correct, no? So, prarabdha karma means which manifest in your body. So, initially, you will not, your sinful reactions will not come, which means, for example, the reactions are stopped, then the sinful actions are stopped. Then after the sinful actions are stopped, then there's a sinful tendencies are stopped after that. And then the root of the sinful tendencies is ignorance. Then ignorance is removed. So it's gradual process it is. It may take many years because we are just now starting. Millions of years we have been doing so many things. Now we are coming to this. But any devotee can say that after they started devotional service, the practice of devotional service itself makes them happy. Yeah, you can see many of the people easily gave up all smoking, drinking. I have students, thousands of students in India who were eating meat, chicken and mutton, everything. They completely gave it up. Those who were drinking, they completely gave it up, which clearly shows that the propensity for doing it is gone. You can see that. And some suffering may be there. That's one reason for that. Is one as Giriraj Maharaj was telling. Krishna takes away your reaction and doesn't burn it away. He keeps it with him. If you again become mischievous, he will release it. Little bit he'll give it. Because he thinks that till you become pure devotee, he will keep it with him. And after that, he will burn it away. Yeah. So you had a question? Yeah.
Yes. So your point in the beginning saying that ignorance is not an excuse.
Correct.
And the last point is that whatever work we do, it should be in line with Krishna.
Correct.
But unfortunately, it's very difficult because, see, there are some industries where we know that it's not good. Like, for example, slaughterhouse, we cannot work, right?
Correct.
But most of the multinational companies, the division which I'm working may not be, but I know that company has so many divisions, they might not be in line with Krishna consciousness.
Yeah.
Same way with our retirements. Like,
say, for example, a computer company.
Exactly.
They write computer programs. Like one of my students in Pune, he was telling that his company was telling him that if you can write a program for a slaughterhouse for cows, so he will get a big money through that. He may get some 3-4 lakhs additionally he may get. So he came and asked me, they are asking what I should do. I asked, what do you want to do? I asked him. He said, no, I don't want to write, he said. He is a very intelligent boy. But then what will be the loss? He said, even if I lose the job, I am ready to forego. But I will not write this. So he told them, I'm not going to write. Then they gave it to somebody else. So now that is not the only thing the company does. They have been doing programming for many other activities. Their company's job is to write program and give. And this was one of the jobs they took up. Otherwise, the company in and of itself is not doing such activities. So what I was especially telling you was, if you know the company's product, say if it is a cigarette company, for example, then it's better for us not to join. If it is a meat industry or a liquor industry or a cigarette industry, or it is making some product which is harming the living entities, So then in the beginning only you know it. then you don't join it. But if you are working in a company which sometimes starts one particular division in which you are not working, but it is newly started, they're starting its one initiative they have started. It may be like 10% of what the company is doing. Then you can't be blamed because overall the company has not been doing such things. But now they're starting, then it may be all right. But if a company's motto, mission itself is breaking the four legs, knowingly we should not join. Is it all right? Yeah, thank you. So, any one more question? That's all? Then we will continue tomorrow. I will do this and then. Yeah.
So in the time of death, you say that whatever we desire, that's what
Accordingly.
So how does the combination makes between the karma and our desire?
Correct.
That's two different things.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
how does it combine to get to the next life?
As I told you, it's not that they will match exactly. See, somebody desires to become a millionaire, at the time of death, but his account is very poor account. Then he won't become millionaire now. He has to become a pauper in the next life, and then he will accrue the punya necessary for becoming a millionaire. After that, that desire will be fulfilled. So the punya, it's like just like, for example, you want to purchase a house. You saw a beautiful house, but then the house is too costly. So what do? You don't buy it immediately. You take some more years. You take a loan or you take a job. Maybe after 5 years you may be able to purchase it. Same manner, he may take some time period to accrue the punya necessary for fulfilling that desire. Until then, that desire will not be fulfilled because he doesn't deserve it. It will not be fulfilled. You'll have to wait till then. It's clear, no? Yeah.
And I have another question.
Yeah.
In the beginning, you say Krishna can be happy or Krishna can be mad. I thought.
No, not Krishna. Krishna can be happy means you can please your parents or you can displease your parents. Correct, no? For example, there are good children and bad children. You have seen that. Bad children in the sense that they're naughty children. I'll just show you one thing just quickly.
A man had 2 sons. The younger son told his father,
"Father, I want my share of your estate now, before you die."
So his father agreed to divide his wealth between his sons. A few days later, his younger son packed all his belongings and moved to a distant land. And there he wasted all his money in wild living. About the time his money ran out, a great famine swept over the land and he began to starve. He persuaded a local farmer to hire him, and the man sent him into his fields to feed the pigs. The young man became so hungry that even the pots he was feeding the pigs looked good to him, but no one gave him anything. When he finally came to his senses, he said to himself, "At home, even the hired servants have food enough to spare, and here I am dying of hunger." He wasted everything his father gave him. While he had the job of feeding the pigs, the young man became so hungry that even the pods he was feeding the pigs looked good to him. But no one gave him anything. Finally, he came to his senses and said,
My father's workers have plenty to eat, and here I am starving to death. I will go to my father and say to him, Father, I have sinned against God in heaven and against you. I am no longer good enough to be called your son. Treat me like one of your workers.
But when he was still a long way off, his father saw him and felt sorry for him. He ran to his son. And he hugged and kissed him.
Hurry and bring the best clothes and put them on him. Give him a ring for his finger and sandals for his feet. This son of mine was dead, but has now come back to life. He was lost and has now been found.
And they began to celebrate.
You saw, no? You understood? So, one such video can convey a lot, you see. That's what I showed you. So, just like the first son was a good son, second one was a bad son, a naughty son, we can say. You know, he went to faraway place and squandered all the wealth, you know. So, we are like that. We have left the wonderful spiritual world and come to the material world. And we are wandering. We know we have made a mistake by coming here. It's a lot of trouble in this world. And the biggest trouble is we are away from God. That's the biggest trouble. Other troubles are all smaller. Because He's our supreme friend, well-wisher, and He kept us very happy, but we have come here to be an imitator. But when we go back to Him, there is an eternal happiness that awaits everybody. Is it clear now? Yeah, thank you all very much. So tomorrow I'll continue. Srila Prabhupada ki.
A small question.
Okay, yeah.
Alright. So, when we were discussing about the pious and impious activities and law of karma,
Yeah.
I got this question where you said if somebody
Yeah.
did something in their past life, they were born as poor or disabled.
Correct.
It got me thinking, and I'm really concerned that now if I look at a tree, I might correlate it to the.
Correct, you are right. And that's the way you should think.
If I've seen some disabled, I might correlate that they might have done. So how do I balance the compassion? Maybe I would probably rationalize this and I do not want.
How you show compassion, whatever they did in the past, you forget about it. Now what can I do for them? Like I also see many beggars coming to the car and batting the door. So we give them cookies and say, please chant Hare Krishna, we tell them. So they pick up a cookie and say, Hare Krishna, their spiritual life has started. It has begun. So now that the soul is beginning the spiritual life, in this life you'll make a lot of advancement. And next life will be a bright future for them. So you create a bright future for them by giving them Krishna consciousness. Because even if they do pious activity, it will eventually dissolve. But if they do spiritual activity, that will produce imperishable results. So now you are a devotee now. You can tell them to chant Hare Krishna. You can make them take prasadam. You can invite them to temple here. And you can give them a copy of Gita to study. So in this way, even if somebody is currently suffering due to past lives, you can help them now. Like even when you see a dog, there are devotees like Shivananda is saying, he fed the dog with prasadam. And then the dog went back to Godhead. You will see that in Charitamrita. We don't have to see that they got a handicapped body because they must have committed sin. That is, although it is a correct knowledge, it is not compassionate. So we should think that how I can be compassionate to every living being. In fact, we should look at every human being with a compassionate eye, exactly as God sees everybody. That's the right vision. We should never feel that you deserve it because you did wrong. We don't see like that. Thank you. Hare Krishna.